Okay, we have already looked at a little bit of solving of equations when finding x-intercepts for our graphs, but you are expected to be able to solve sinusoidal periodic function equations. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got sine of x is root 3 on 2 between 0 and 2 pi. The first thing I look at is the sign of my answer, whether it is positive or whether it is negative. Okay, so I'm going to draw myself a little cast diagram, and I'm going to say C-A-S-T, and I'm going to say, well, sine is, and this thing's positive, in quadrants 1 and quadrants 2. So I know that my solutions, I'm going to have two solutions between 0 and 2 pi. Remember, all the way around the circle is 2 pi. I'm going to have two solutions, one in the first quadrant and one in the second quadrant. Now, I also need to now figure out what my base angle is, or my angle in the first quadrant would have been. So I say, well, my base angle happens to be, well, I recognize those numbers. Okay, root 3 on 2 definitely sounds like numbers that I know. So if I draw this here, I know that little circle is a root 3 on 2 in it, and my pi on 3 is sine of root 3 on 2. So my base angle is pi on 3, as sine of pi on 3 gives me root 3 on 2. All right, now I can get my answers, because my answer in my first quadrant, okay, will be, now we're solving for x. X has to just be pi on 3. Sine of pi on 3 is root 3 on 2. But then I also have an acute angled triangle in quadrant 2, where it is symmetrical to my angle in quadrant 1. Okay, so that's going to be pi on 3, and that one's also going to be pi on 3. Okay, so I've also got x is equal to pi minus pi on 3, which is going to be 2 pi on 3. Okay, I'm going to do one more on this video, and then we'll move on to the next one. So the next one says root 3 sine x equals cos x between negative 2 pi and positive 2 pi. Now, you need to realize here that we've got two solutions in the clockwise direction and two solutions in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so I'm actually expecting 4 solutions here to my equation, and I'll show you why. All right, let's first get this looking into some sort of form that makes sense. So I remember that sine x over cos x is something significant. So I'm going to rewrite this as sine x over cos x is 1 over root 3. So I've just taken the cos x to the one side, not sine x over sine x. And I have taken the root 3 over to the other side. Now, sine x over cos x happens to be tan x. And 1 over root 3 hopefully jogs your memory as to something that you recognize. All right, so let's start with our base angle, because I think that's going to be easiest to recognize. Base angle is, and I think to myself, okay, 1 over root 3. So I've got my triangle, 1, 2, root 3 of algebra. Okay, so pi on 6. So my base angle is pi on 6, as tan of pi on 6 is equal to 1 over root 3. So that tells me that my angle in the first quadrant is pi on 6. Now I look and I say, okay, then the sine of 1 on root 3 is positive. So where is tan positive? Tan is positive in, and I draw myself a cast diagram, and I know it's in the first quadrant and in the third quadrant. So tan is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. Now, let me show you why I'm expecting 4 solutions. If I'm going from negative 2 pi to 2 pi, okay, so negative 2 pi means I'm going from 0 in the clockwise direction all the way to negative 2 pi. And then if I'm going to 2 pi, I'm going in the anti-clockwise direction from 0 to 2 pi. And can you see 4 times my circle will be crossing my solutions, so I'm expecting 4 solutions to that problem. Okay, so let's start between let's start with the positive ones first. Okay, so 0 to 2 pi is probably the most familiar to you. So I'm going to have x is equal to pi on 6, or now over here, that's where my pi on 6 will be, so it's going to be pi plus pi on 6. And that's going to be 7 pi on 6. Now let's have a look between negative 2 pi and 0. Okay, so now I'm going negative 2 pi in that negative direction, but then I have to go plus pi on 6. So x is going to be negative 2 pi plus pi on 6, so it's going to be negative 11 pi on 6. Or, now remember I'm going negative directions, I'm going negative pi plus pi on 6, and that's going to be negative 5 pi on 6. So therefore, there are my 4 solutions. X is negative 11 pi on 6, negative 5 pi on 6, pi on 6, and 7 pi on 6.